I wanted to review Call of Duty World at War to celebrate its 10th anniversary. The game was released on November 11, 2008, which happens to be not only Veterans Day, but my date of birth. I was born on November 11, 1998. I am now 20 years old. Does the game still hold up? Has it aged badly? Well, you're watching this video, so let's begin. The one aspect of Call of Duty World at War I loved was the visualization. It had a very dark tone. It gave players a feeling of what war was like back in World War II. Depending on what guns you carry, you can dismember, blow up, tear apart, or singe a soldier. Watching some of these soldiers dying on screen was really shocking to me, and possibly to any of you who played this game. In the campaign mode, if your character dies, the camera will fall below, the screen will become black and white to give players a feeling of death. Even the menu is very depressing to look at, with the tone it has and the unsettling music playing over it. The graphics on the game is good. It didn't have so much lens flare or chrome added to the weapons. The animations are smooth, and the weapon models themselves look nice. The sound design is excellent, especially on the guns. Nowadays, the gun sound effects are so generic and boring. It goes something like this. And then when you're reloading, it's just like... The campaign mode was a lot of fun to play. You play on two different sides, the Americans and the Russians, both giving you different missions to complete and weapons to use. The major characters such as Roebuck, played by Kiefer Sutherland, or Reznov, played by Gary Oldman, did a fantastic job giving life to these characters. Gary Oldman's character, Sergeant Reznov, had the best character development in this game in my opinion, and later in the first Black Ops game. Roebuck had his moments, and I do love his character. He was a great leader in the game, in the American campaign mode, if you know what I mean. But it was Reznov who took the spotlight of being a fan favorite, with his voice acting, and his theme, and his backstory. The game's soundtrack is also really great to listen to. It adds a lot of atmosphere of what is happening in-game. It can be emotional, dark, epic, or depressing. The game also offered two vehicle-based missions, one in where you drive a tank, and the other where you're shooting down ships on an airplane. The tank mission was a lot of fun because of how much mayhem you can cause in a tank. Also, you can blow up Nazis in a tank. The airplane mission was also fun. It had shooting segments. You had to shoot on different sides of the plane and also rescue passengers from boats. This part wasn't scripted, by the way. There's also a few player-determined segments in some levels. The most notable one is in the final mission for the US campaign mode, in which the player has to make a choice in either saving Sergeant Roebuck or a fellow Marine who goes by the name Polonsky. Personally, I chose to save Polonsky because Roebuck's death was really emotional. Roebuck felt like a leader. He was keeping these soldiers alive until the very end. When he was killed in action, the soldiers were inspired to fight for their own lives or die fighting. The ending in this game was really depressing. After completing the final mission for the Russians, an outro cutscene begins to play, first featuring old footage of an airplane dropping the bomb on Japan, and later playing another old footage of General MacArthur, in which he gives a speech. The cutscene ends with two captions that say 60 million lives were lost as a result of World War II. It was the most destructive and deadly conflict in human history. Now that I finished talking about the campaign mode, I would like to talk about the multiplayer. Only problem is that I can't find any public servers to play multiplayer on. The only thing you should know is that there are no loot boxes and no microtransactions in World at War, and that it's just like every other Call of Duty multiplayer before Advanced Warfare hit the scene. TLDR, shoot, die, repeat, and level up. That's all. Let's just move on to zombies. Nazi Zombies was a great idea since the game's engine was based around violence and dismembering your enemies. How zombie works is easy. You start off with a pistol, 2 grenades, and 500 points. Each time you kill a zombie, you get 50 points. Every shot to the head gets you 100 points. You can also repair barriers to get you an extra 10 points for each plank. You can buy weapons from the wall and from the random box. The worst part is that after each round, the zombies become stronger and stronger, at a point where every gun in your arsenal, including the most powerful ones, become weak. The game mode would later get 3 more DLCs, Verrückt, Shinonuma, and Deikaeus. Each of these maps introduces something into the table. Oh, and if you plan on playing zombies for World at War, a little tip for you. Do not pick up the Car 89K. It is worthless. Nacht der Untoten was the map that started it all, giving us the zombies, the random box, or the mystery box, or just the box, the ray gun, the wall guns, etc. While Verrückt, on the other hand, introduced us to more features, such as perk machines in which you can buy perks depending on how many points you have, and it will give you some abilities such as getting hit 4 times with Juggernog or reloading faster with Speed Cola, and Quick Revive doing nothing if you're playing solo. It did something for co-op, but not solo. It also introduced us the power switch, the electro traps, those hilarious zombie sound effects that would later become a meme. Seriously, why do people do this? And the goddamn teddy bear that would change the box locations, and that nobody loves. Not only that, the soldiers also had voiceovers, unlike Nacht der Untoten, where it had no voice lines. There was also a lot of horror ambience added to give you that Dead Space atmosphere. Only, you're not in space, you're on land, in the middle of an asylum. Lastly, we were given the first Easter egg song, Lullaby for a Dead Man, sung by Elena Siegemann and composed by Kevin Sherwood. Then came Shinonuma, in which we were introduced to new characters from different factions based on the campaign mode. Treyarch introduced us to Tank Dempsey, voiced by Steve Blum, Nikolai Belensky, voiced by Fred Tatasciore, Takeo Masaki, voiced by Tom Kane, and Edward Richtofen, voiced by Nolan North. Pretty much these characters are the comic relief in Nazi zombies, and when I say that, I mean they deliver a lot of silly catchphrases. I mean, after all, horror does need some dark comedy and some catchphrases, like Evil Dead, for example. I forgot to mention that the previous maps had some kind of lore building up. For this map, it talks about how the ray gun was invented and a meteor containing an element known as Element 115, aka Unpatinium, or Moscovium, or what Black Ops 3 calls it, Divinium. Shinonuma not only introduced us to these characters we liked, but also gave us Hellhound rounds, in which Hellhounds would spawn and attack you. Not only that, we were introduced to a new wonder weapon, one that would be the zombie's worst nightmare, one that gave players not only a sense of pride and accomplishment, but power. Enter the Wunderwaffe DG2, a weapon that shoots a bolt of lightning that can chain effect to other zombies. It was a high rounder's wet dream come true, and if used correctly, it helped many players reach to the high rounds, where all the weapons except for this gun would become weak. If used incorrectly, it would leave the players vulnerable to zombies. Shinonuma, just like Verrückt, had an Easter egg song called The One, and just like the last song, it was sang by Elena Siegemann and composed by Kevin Sherwood. Deikaeus was the final DLC zombies map for World at War. It was the first map to give us the Pack-a-Punch machine, a machine used to upgrade your guns to make them stronger for a few more rounds. We were also introduced to another wonder weapon, the Monkey Bomb, which is a bomb used to distract zombies and also make them go boom. Deikaeus also gave us more lore to the story of zombies, such as the Hellhounds and how they came into existence, or the Wunderwaffe DG2 being planned to be mass-produced for World War II, more info on how the zombies came to existence, etc. Not only that, this map introduced us the first Easter egg. Sure, there were radios, songs that would play if you did something back in the previous maps, like knifing them or just holding the use key. But this is the first map to give us a series of events in which you had to do something in order to complete them. And it's amazing how this small Easter egg would later give us more memorable Easter eggs in future zombie maps. Quick update, Doris, just like the other maps, had an Easter egg song, this one being called Beauty of Annihilation, sang by Elena Siegeman, and composed by Kevin Sherwood. Now we move on to the conclusion, shall we? Overall, Call of Duty World at War is a special gem in the series. It's not only a video game with a fantastic campaign mode and with a fantastic visualization of what war is like, but it is some form of art. The art of war, that is. The game was one of my inspirations of me wanting to study history, to gain more knowledge of the past. Yeah, I know. But the question remains, should you get this game? Is it worth your money? The answer is yes, you should get this game. It's worth your money, even though it does have its flaws, such as the AI not being good, and the zombie hit detections being hard to avoid. It's still definitely worth buying, and plus, no loot boxes. I suggest getting the PC version since the DLCs are all unlocked, and you can play custom zombie maps that are probably bad. But that would mean no multiplayer servers available to play. But still, campaign mode's great. Anyway, thanks for watching from my review on Call of Duty World at War. If you like this video and you want to see more in the future, be sure to give it a like and to subscribe to my channel. If not, at least give me some constructive criticism of what I can do to make videos similar to this better. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.